From Craig Rolson in Europe, David Gerber in Brazil, and our editor-in-chief and publisher, Don Oshman, it's time for this week's Sunday Night Week in Review.
Good evening. It's Sunday night, January 25th already, 2015. My name is Don Oshman, editor-in-chief and publisher of HideNet Market Reports. Craig Rolson wrote from Europe for a European report this week that the market was generally steady, depending on selection and country of origin, of course, but neither buyer or seller seemed especially anxious to trade. There was some normal business, but nothing voluminous. Irish 36s traded between $97 and $100 CNF, where that's the best market for that type of hide as opposed to Italy. Vealskin prices were seeing lower demand for most selections, kind of lackluster, and sheepskin and lamb prices in the European productions were softly steady after a little bit of a perk up after China was active right after the first of the year. In North America this week, bulls and plump cows advanced, which was something nice to see something go up again, but all other selections were steady. So there was no pizzazz. Now, in spite of tremendously high export figures, the USDA reported Friday that sales totaled 875,600 pieces. That's the highest since the peak of the market earlier in 2014. The combined outstanding, that's highest shipped, not shipped, sold but not shipped, was up 11%. It's the highest since last July, but there's probably a reason for part of that, and that's the West Coast port slowdown for shipments to the Far East. And sales exceeded slaughter for the second week in a row, but shipments were below. Again, some of this is because of the ongoing West Coast port slowdown. As one major exporter said to me, I don't know how we manage to finance this. We've got containers all over the western part of the country. We have LCs. We can't collect in those LCs because we can't get the containers on a vessel and get a bill of lading. Ships are waiting offshore. Products are coming in, not coming in, slow. They're coming in very slowly. Exports of everything are going out. The meat packers are losing vast fortunes on chilled beef they're going to have to throw away. And there's no end in sight, even though the government put a mediator to get the slowdown stopped by the Longshore Union and the people who run and manage the ports. So it's an ongoing situation for about 9-10 months already, and it's getting worse all the time. And no, you can't go out to the East Coast port when you're in a western part of the world, country. The other news this week was Rockport, which is owned by Adidas, sold or is in the process of selling that brand to New Balance, which is basically an American producer, which surprised many. In Latin America this week, David Holz reports that Brazilian green prices were generally steady. Brazilian TR1 is offered around bidding around $100.70 and asking about $1.80, with prices depending on production in between all those prices, CFR. Argentine wet salted prices continue to drift lower, down several more cents this week, although so far crust prices have been able to hold their own, but they are down in the last month or two. There's a new CEO, pardon my eye, there's a new CEO at Marfrig, and there's also reported in this week's issue on the drought in Brazil, which is eventually going to impact the hide supply. Unless it changes, and these droughts don't change very quickly. That's about it. It's a short show tonight. We invite you to go to our website, HideNet.com, click on the Mandarin HideNet Interactive International Mandarin Forum, and if you click on there, you can see that it now has English subtitles, so you can watch CLA President Su Chaoyang and his staff and people from Henan Prosper talk about the Chinese hide market, exports, pollution, imports, consumption. Phenomenal stuff. It takes about an hour, and it's very, very, very interesting. Just go to the HideNet.com website, click on that blue button under my picture with this video, and I think you'll really enjoy watching it and feel much more informed than you otherwise might. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.